Good evening and welcome to our Tuesday Talks webinar. My name is Susan Brown, the Associate Director of Parent and Family Programs. It is our pleasure to be hosting this evening's webinar, D'Amore-McKim School of Business. This evening, you'll be hearing from Christina Salwan, Assistant Dean of Undergraduate Programs, and Mary Kane, Assistant Dean of Cooperative Education. During tonight's talk, you are invited to type questions into the Q&A pod, which is on the right side of your screen. Questions will be answered following the presentation. Welcome, Christina and Mary. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this rainy night in Boston. We're so glad you were able to come and talk with us tonight.
Thank you for having us. Yes, thank you very much. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I'm going to go over the agenda today that we have for you. First, we're going to start off with college highlights. Then we're going to review new programs and courses, beginning of the co-op process, clubs and organizations, academic resources, some important dates and events, as well as a question and answer at the end. So let's get started with the college highlights. So here are our measures of distinction in the D'Amore-McKim School of Business. As you can see in the D'Amore-McKim School of Business, we merge world-class academics with meaningful business experience, creating powerful results in the classroom and beyond. You can see that we are ranked 9th for the U.S. Undergraduate International Business Program. That's by the U.S. News and World Report 2018. And then 20th with the U.S. Undergraduate Business Programs by Poets and Quants 2017. You also see that we're ranked 4th with schools that help you get the jobs you really want. That's once again Poets and Quants 2017. And then we received an A+ ranking from our alumni from Poets and Quants 2017. To go over the academic programs offered in the D'Amore-McKim School of Business, this slide discusses the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration as well as our Bachelor of Science in International Business. Both of the degree programs, the students will choose 7 out of 7 concentrations. The concentrations available are accounting, entrepreneurship, finance, marketing, management, management information systems, and supply chain management. In addition, in the D'Amore-McKim School of Business, we have combined majors. The combined majors are unique opportunities to study and co-op in 2 complementary disciplines. As you can see here in the center of the diagram, we have business administration, and around are the different disciplines that we have combined our degree with, such as design, economics, political science, math, computer science, and information science. In addition, we have our minors within the School of Business: business analytics, emerging markets, global social entrepreneurship, leadership and human capital, and sustaining business practices. As you can see, the asterisks on emerging markets, global social entrepreneurship, as well as sustainable business practices include a summer field study that gives the student a chance to apply classroom knowledge to practical field research projects in countries such as Brazil, South Africa, Ireland, or Dominican Republic. We also have in the School of Business, for students who are outside of the School of Business, our entrepreneurship minor as well as our business administration. Here we're going to go over some new programs and courses. Semester in Silicon Valley started in fall 2017. You can see a sampling of the academics that are offered. The classes are offered in San Francisco, as well as there are extracurricular activities that take the students into Silicon Valley. This sampling gives students a look into entrepreneurial and as well as independent study, including an internship from participating companies. You can refer to the program link to find out more information regarding this exciting opportunity. In addition, we have new minors that are available for the School of Business students. Business Analytics, the minor requires the MIS course, Management Information Systems, and then 3 electives. Here's an example of the courses that are approved for electives: data mining for business, marketing analytics, among others that are available to our students. In addition, we have the Leadership and Human Capital minor. This minor consists of a required course two required courses, first being organizational behavior and then managing human capital. Then students will complete two electives. Once again, we have example courses available here, which is managing a diverse workforce or negotiating in business. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mary Keene to discuss the next slide.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining. What I'd like to do right now is just talk to you a little bit about beginning the co-op process. And one of the things that I believe really differentiates our program is the holistic approach that we take to preparing students for their co-op experiences. At the core of working with our students, your sons and daughters, is the fact that they will obviously be assigned to a co-op faculty who will work with them throughout the process. In addition, because we think it's important that there's coursework that will help them both do a series of self-assessments around their career interests and their strengths, and also then preparing them for the workplace, there are two courses that they need to take before they go out on that first co-op experience. And that really is the core around our preparation of working with students as they engage in co-op. What's really exciting is the fact that we engage many other folks in helping facilitate our students be prepared when they go to the workplace. We engage our alumni, employer partners, our upper class students, and our academic faculty. And in various parts of the process, each one of them will have a role in helping prepare our students. For those of you whose sons or daughters are actually in the co-op course right now, which means they'll be getting their co-op in July, there are many engagement activities with employers and alums that we have on the calendar for them. They're not required to attend all of these, but we strongly recommend that they do. It gives them insight into the companies, into the types of jobs that they either might be experiencing for this first co-op, or even will help them think about what they might want to do at a later point. We have a tremendous amount of activities each semester. Typically, we'll have over 300 employer presentations. Many of our employers will come on campus to do the actual interviews. And more importantly, we have a number of smaller type venues of either networking or breakfast or lunch events where smaller groups of students can meet one-on-one with different employer partners to really get a better sense of either what their career path was or what are the really important things for them to know before they go out in the workplace. At the end of the day, what our goals really are that the student is prepared for the experience that they engage in, that it helps them figure out what they want to do for a career, whether or not sometimes they come back and say, this isn't what I want to do. Sometimes it's really going to reinforce that. After the first co-op is actually usually a really good point in time for the student to then come back and maybe look at some of the minors or other programs that we have in a business school, and that's a really good point in time for them to take additional courses. One of the minors that Christina talked about was the minors in business analytics, and we really encourage students who at all have an interest in that area to think about that and how that might strengthen their overall academic program. Once your son or daughter complete their first co-op, there is also a process when they come back to again then meet with their co-op faculty to talk about and debrief the experience. We call it reflection, and really begin the planning process all over again. We're really fortunate here in D'Amore-McKim that co-op is such an integral part of students' coursework once they come back from their experience, and many of our faculty are actually leveraging students' real-world experiences as part of their case discussions. The other point that I do want to talk a little bit about is here in the business school, students are assigned their co-op pattern and the timing of their co-op cycle. Any student who's currently in one of the co-op courses has already made that choice. And really the purpose for this is to ensure that the co-op cycles are balanced and that students have access to required courses and electives when they come back and as they progress through the school cycle. We absolutely begin this process by giving students the opportunity to identify their preference because we realize that is important. And wherever possible, we let those choices stand. It's only when a particular pattern is oversubscribed that we then need to work and assign the students to another co-op cycle. To quickly just sort of summarize again, depending upon the cycle, what students will be doing before that co-op experience. We lay out the spring cycle and then the fall cycle. And it shows when they will take that first introductory course, which is BUSN 1100. The next semester they take 1103. That is really the course where we're really helping them to prepare to be successful as they transition to a professional in the workplace. And then immediately after that is typically the semester where they start their co-op. And it's the opposite time frame and semesters, obviously, for the other cycle. A couple of things to just point out. Sometimes a student will be in that 1103 course and for whatever reason may decide they're just not ready to go out on co-op the following semester. They will work with their co-op faculty and their academic advisor, and we will help navigate them through making the right decision for them. Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that they're comfortable and ready before they engage in that first co-op experience.
Thank you, Mary. This is a great time now to discuss our clubs and organizations. So as you see here, this is a sampling of the more than 30 business-focused clubs, organizations, and societies within the D'Amore-McKim School of Business. So as you can see, the student clubs and organizations provide students with a variety of opportunities to explore interests and develop leadership skills while creating new friendships and a D'Amore-McKim School of Business network of peers. In addition to the clubs and organizations, we have many academic resources available for the students. In the academic advising office, as well as the co-op office, we have high-touch developmental advising. We have different opportunities for our students to engage with upperclassmen, such as D'Amore-McKim delegates in our Business 1102 class, which is our first semester class that all of our students will take, as well as peer mentors from the co-op office. In addition to academic resources, we have the faculty availability to students. Faculty in the D'Amore-McKim School of Business offer office hours, teaching assistant office hours, and there's also peer tutoring available for all courses, business or non-business courses that have the peer tutoring available. So we are going to go over a few important dates and events on the next slide. So as you can see here, the semester is well underway now, and coming up almost less than a month now, summer registration begins on Tuesday, February 20th. We also have fall 2018 registration, which begins on April 9th. Other important events or dates to note, spring break is Monday, March 5th through March 9th. And then we have the last day, if you skip through, the last day of final exams is Friday, April 27th. We've included a link to academic calendar, which can always be accessed via the registrar's website. Every beginning of the semester, each fall, spring, and summer, please always check back to the registrar's website because dates may change based upon future semesters.
Thank you, Christina and Mary. I think parents really enjoyed hearing about D'Amore-McKim School of Business and the clubs and organization and co-ops. So we are going to begin taking some questions. As I mentioned earlier, we will be taking questions, and you will see the Q&A pod on the right hand of your screen. We will do our best to get to your questions, but if for some reason we do not, you can always email parents@neu.edu, and I will make sure it gets forwarded to the right person. So let's begin. Can a student do 2 concentrations?
Sure, I'll take that one, that question. So yes, students may complete 1 or 2 concentrations. Actually, some of our students are able to complete 3 concentrations. This is why when I went over academic resources, I discussed the fact that we have developmental advising. So we meet one-on-one with our students to go over all of the opportunities, academic, professional, and social, that they have at Northeastern. And one of them is developing their academic plan. So yes, students will meet with their academic advisors to determine 1, 2, or even possibly 3 concentrations depending upon their own individual plan and basically the time that they are going to spend at Northeastern and the amount of co-ops they want to complete.
What is the difference between a concentration and a business minor?
Perfect. Thank you, Susan. That's a great question. So concentration is within those 7 areas of study that we had gone over previously, and those are required. One concentration is required for the degree to be conferred. A minor is a complementary, I would say, area of study that students can complete. A lot of our students will complete one concentration and a minor, whether it's a minor within the School of Business or a minor outside the School of Business.
That's great. We had that question too. People were asking, can you minor in other areas outside of the school? So let's see. It is my understanding that NU interim students do not get to choose their co-op cycles. Is that true?
Hi, this is Mary Kane again. Actually, they will have an opportunity. Students who entered this January are given the choice to identify which co-op preference they'd like. This is a change from last January, and part of that had to do with enrollment numbers, but we really felt going through that process that students should be given a choice, and it will help us better balance both cycles.
So if a student didn't take part in the NU term program, are there any internships they could take, be doing during any opportunities during the summer for them?
So students are welcome to take an internship. Typically, the questions that we get from students around an internship is whether or not it can count towards coursework or whether or not it can count towards co-op, and that's when the folks on my team in co-op have to have conversations with their academic advising team because it can get complicated in terms of what credits a student needs. If somebody is doing an internship that requires academic credit, then students will have to pay 1 credit for that experience. So in general, internships are students are absolutely able to participate in them, but it's best if they first see their academic advisor, and then we can see how it's going to best work in their plan.
So if my student is a first-year student, when would they find out what co-op cycle they're on?
If they are a first-year student and they started in the fall, they already know that. They've already went through the process in November. If they started here in January, we will be working with students between now and the end of February. They will have made those decisions, and we have confirmed back with them when their co-op cycle is.
We have a parent asking if their student was going on co-op January of 2019, then they would take those courses in the fall, I would imagine, the co-op class?
So if they are going on co-op in January of 2019, they most likely are in BUSN 1100 this semester, and in the fall they will be taking 1103, which is the professional development course.
So a parent is saying, I understand the enrollment starts February 20th. Is there any priority to get the right courses? Should they speak to someone? How do they go about that?
Yes, that's a great question. So we make sure that all of our business core classes are available during the summer, as well as we started offering a lot more of the upper class electives during the summer. So my academic advisors, who I work with, my team, they are available to meet either through walk-in hours, which is for a quick question, 10 to 15 minutes, or they can also make a 30-minute larger appointment with a student or advisor to discuss their academic plan, as well as the schedule for summer classes, as well as fall, as well as anything to do with their academic plan. So they are available. So we make sure that there are many times available for the students to discuss the summer registration as well as fall.
We talked about, a little earlier about if a student wants to minor in another area or another college, who would they talk to? They talk to the business advisor, or should they talk to the advisor in that other college that they're interested in?
Great question. I always say start with your academic advisor in the School of Business, because the academic advisor from the first semester that students arrive here at Northeastern builds a plan with the students. And that individual plan will work with the academic advisor as well as the student throughout their 4 to 5 years here at Northeastern. And they will be able to best serve the students to make the best determination about how to fit in a minor, as well as if there's any double counting between the minor as well as their degree program. So it's always best to start with your current academic advisor in the School of Business, and then our academic advisors work very closely with the other colleges, so it's an easy referral system that we can utilize to get the students more information from that college.
So how do students make an appointment with their academic advisor? Do they call, email? How do they do that?
That's a great question. So on the MyNEU portal, students are able to see their advisors' calendars, as well as we in the School of Business and 250 Dodge Hall, where we're located, we have a front desk that manages a lot of the calendars as well. So students can stop by, students can call the office, students can email their academic advisors, and they can also utilize the MyNEU and look at the calendars that way.
We have a couple parents that are asking, they came in January, their students were part of the NUN program. When would they go on co-op, and what's that process?
So students who arrived in January will be given the option to either go on co-op, their first co-op January of 2019 or July of 2019. We will be meeting with those students shortly, and those that have an interest in really beginning their co-op in January won't take a formal version of the first course, but we will work with them offline starting in March, and so long as they have all the work completed by the first week of classes in September, so that they're able to progress into the 1103 course, then they're on track to go on co-op in January. They will have someone from the co-op office who will work with them through the process, along with the opportunity to engage with somebody either second half of this semester or over the summer with an upper class student. So they are getting all of the curriculum that's needed and the same interaction one-on-one that they would get if they were in the course during the normal semester.
So for those MUN students that have come in January, do they have the same advisor that they would start with in January? Would they have the same one the year after?
Yes. So in the School of Business, and we have the developmental advising, which means that from the first time that they are admitted, and then they attend orientation, and when they're on campus, they work with their first year advisor as well as their tandem advisors, and they will work with them throughout their time here through graduation. So as the students gain confidence and understanding of their academic plan, the advisors are there to assist them with all the different programming and opportunities that are available to them.
Do most students participate in the NU term program in the summertime? How many students would you think from the business schools do that? And what are your suggestions?
So I actually I don't have the exact number. I do know that many students participate in summer programs such as courses, or if they're studying abroad. Students utilize this time during summer 1 or summer 2 in order to further progress in their degree, so they can move forward if they wanted to complete in a 4-year versus 5-year, depending on their academic plan. And that's why there's other opportunities too for students during the summer, such as different programming opportunities and different opportunities for students to engage in professional and social activities.
Okay. Can you take that co-op prep class? We talked about the 2 courses that you have to take. Can you take those in the same semester, or should they be broken up? What's your recommendation?
They're not designed to be taken in the same semester. They do need to be taken at separate times, and the reason for that is a lot of this exploration work that a student may do during the first course really builds upon their ability to really be better prepared and more focused for 1103 in their co-op search. That said, if there is ever a situation where somehow that just isn't going to work for a schedule, we would work with that student, if at all possible, to help get them on the right co-op track, but they are not designed to be taken at the same time.
Can you talk a little bit about the process that students begin the co-op process looking for jobs? How do they see those jobs? And can parents see those jobs?
So the students, the semester they're beginning their co-op search. So for example, we have a lot of students right now who are going on that first co-op in July, are in 1103. They're working directly with their co-op faculty, and once they've submitted all of their required paperwork, their resume, and a few other things, they are able to go into our online job database, which is called NU Careers, and they are able to search all jobs where they meet the criteria that the employer is looking for. They identify which jobs that they're interested in, and then typically in the business school, they will then meet again with their co-op faculty, talk about those jobs, narrow down their choices. And for most students going on a first co-op, their interview process will probably begin after spring break. We would not expect them really to have too many interviews before the spring break process, just if you're kind of interested in timing. And it's a continuous process through the end of the spring semester. Sometimes there are students that we work with through summer one, and because co-op doesn't start until July. And so the process is really working with their co-op faculty, looking at new jobs as they post, doing interview preparation, and continuing that process until they're offered a job that they want and they accept.
Okay. I know most positions are probably 35, 40 hours a week, I would assume. Do many companies pay overtime? Is there many overtime available for positions?
So most of our co-op positions are full-time. That can vary depending upon the industry or the company that the student is working in, and the same with overtime. If they're working for a position that needs overtime, the student may be asked to do that. They would not be required to unless, of course, they're doing tax during tax season, but they shouldn't plan on that either. But co-op, when a student is working out on co-op, they're under the same labor law guidelines as any other individual would be working in the workplace.
What about dialogue opportunities? Are there any for the students in the business schools?
Oh, yes, of course. So via the Global Experience Office, there are many different opportunities for the students to participate in the Dialogue of Civilization. In the School of Business, we have many opportunities in different areas and different focuses in the School of Business. And also a lot of our students participate in dialogues that are outside the School of Business. So once again, we encourage the students to work with our advisor in order to make sure that they're making the best decision about the programs that they're choosing and how it fits into their academic and their total plan here at Northeastern.
We talked earlier about some of the concentrations and some of the minors. When do students have to do that? Like, can they do that in their second or third year? Or do they have to do it in the first year? What is the timing for that?
Sure. So a lot of our students come in, probably sometimes they come in with an idea of what they want to study. And as we go through our business core, actually has many of the courses that are preparing students for the other concentrations. So students sometimes will come in and they'll decide what concentration they want to do, and they'll know right away. Some of our students will take and not realize what concentration they want to study until their second or third year. As Mary has stated, the preparatory co-op course, Business 1103, is the students are registered in that according to their concentration, correct, Mary?
Yeah, they're registered according to their concentration. So we do ask students to make an initial decision end of freshman year or sophomore year, and we work with them through the co-op process based on that concentration. But I will tell you, many students add a second concentration. Many students, there's still plenty of time even in sophomore or junior year to switch their concentration depending upon how they've taken their courses. It really is a learning process, and what we try to do is just give them the kinds of support and resources to help them make the decision that is right for them.
Is the concentration more demanding than a minor, or is it, would you say it's the same in regards to the coursework? And
I can answer that. So the concentration is required. So first and foremost, the student has to complete at least one concentration to confer their degree. whereas a minor is an optional complement to their degree. And so I can't say that one is harder than the other. I think that it just has different focus as well as different requirements in each of those academic opportunities. So with the student, one is required, which is a concentration, and a minor is optional. And I think that students really get an idea of what they want to minor in as they go through the process of looking for co-op, completing a co-op, knowing what they want to or need to study and learn before they go out on that next experience to make them, prepared for that. And so I think that that's where the minors actually come in as a second or third year or fourth year option for the students.
If a student is in their fourth year and they're interested in doing their third co-op, can they also do an internship that year, or should they be in classes? It kind of depends on the credit, I would assume.
So a student is typically 6 months in classes, 6 months out on co-op. There are guidelines, and they're actually federal guidelines, about how long a student can actually be out of the classroom. It does get a bit complicated. It can sometimes see when it comes face-to-face with the summer cycle. For a question like that, the student would want to see where they are at that point in their program. They would first meet with their academic advisor to make sure that what they wanted to do met academic requirements, and then if there was a possibility, we would, in the co-op office, could work with them.
If a student just came in January and they're part of the NUN program, when would they be assigned a co-op advisor?
They will be, they're officially assigned a co-op advisor the semester that they take 1103, so they will either officially be assigned who their co-op advisor is in fall of 18 or spring of 19. However, prior to that, they're engaging with the co-op department and hopefully going through a process that's helping them solidify what area they want to start in, what their concentration in their career, and so they'll have an idea.
Okay. In regards to undergraduate courses, can an undergraduate student take a graduate course if they wanted to?
That's another great question. So in my experience of advising in D'Amore-McKim School of Business, there are some opportunities for students to complete graduate coursework. It's not included in these slides, but we do have +1 programs, and those +1 programs are for the Master of Science in Accounting, Master of Science in Finance. And so those students in Master of Science in International Management, those students who apply to those programs can complete a semester of coursework of graduate courses while still undergrad, complete their undergraduate coursework with those graduate courses, confer their undergraduate degree, and then the following semester complete the other semester of graduate coursework to complete the graduate degree. So that's typically when our undergraduate students are able to complete graduate courses. And once again, if students are looking for graduate level coursework or working with faculty, we also do have independent research that students can complete with faculty members in an area that they are interested in. And so that's another way for students to work one-on-one with a faculty member.
Okay. I do want to remind everybody that's listening tonight that this session is recorded. Many of you are asking, will the slides be available, and can they see the minor concentrations? We will be posting it up on our website, and we will be sending you an email, so you will get that information. And let me just say a reminder, if we did not get to your question, we promise we'll put our contact information at the end, and we will get to it. So back to a couple more questions. If a student doesn't start their first co-op until July, and they have May and June free, is there anything that they can do during that time?
So there certainly is. They may be going home. They may have a part-time job. They may be here on campus taking courses. It really all depends what their overall their schedule and their interests are. They could be on a dialogue. Many of our students will be engaged in something during summer one.
If a student wanted to transfer into the D'Amore-McKim School of Business, is it difficult, and who would they talk to?
That's a good question. So in the School of Business and all the colleges in the undergraduate at Northeastern graduate colleges, we work very closely, as I stated before, with the other college representatives and advising. And so students have an opportunity, if they come in a different college and different major, to work one-on-one with their current academic advisor and have referral to the college that they're interested in. So if it's the D'Amore-McKim School of Business, they work with that change of major advisor, and the students will then be reviewed. And the students need to be in good academic standing, and they need to just complete the coursework that they, basically the coursework that they need to keep on progress to complete their degree. So yes, students are able to change from one college to the other and major to the other, and they are assisted with academic advising throughout the entire process.
Mary, we have another question
Sure.
regarding the co-op process. If a student is working on a co-op job and they feel like they're not getting the skills that they thought they would, who would they talk to? Do they talk to the employee? Do they talk to the co-op advisor? How is that handled?
We encourage students to always begin the conversation with their co-op faculty. Now, if a student is in the workplace and they feel comfortable in how to start that conversation with their employer, they're absolutely able to do that also. Many times what we find is that students need a little guidance. They want to do a check-in. Should I be busier? Is there something else I can do? And what we'll try to do is give them some strategies or a way to approach the manager to see if they can either get busier or sort of what the situation is. We find it's best to have the student and the employer try to resolve the situation if at all possible, but we reiterate we are there as a support, and sometimes there may be a situation where the co-op coordinator will take a more active approach to trying to problem solve.
In regards to positions too, if a student is offered a position in company A, but they really want to work for company B, what's your advice to give them? How long do they usually have to?
So that's a great question. So students, we have a pretty large program, and to make sure that it runs smoothly, we generally have a 3-day guideline where we expect students to either accept or decline an offer. On the other hand, we typically ask employers to give students 3 days to accept or decline. What we would encourage students to do when they're in that situation is to reach out to their co-op coordinator. The reason we suggest that is the coordinator may be able to get some information that will help the student decide whether or not to take that first offer or whether or not to hold on a little bit. You probably can tell by my answers, one of the things that we actually suggest for a lot of things is students should be in contact with their co-op faculty. Keep in touch with them during the interview process, keep in touch with them during the offer process, and any issues that arise while on co-op. That's our job, and we're not going to necessarily solve the problem for you, but we're going to try to give your son or daughter the strategies to empower them to make the right decision.
If a student is offered to come back to that co-op, do you recommend that? Like if they really want to stay with that company and do the same co-op 2 times? What's your thoughts on that?
So at the end of the day, that is the student's choice. I will tell you that's not typical in the business school, and many of our employers will actually really encourage students to maybe pursue a different opportunity for their second or third co-op. And the reason for that is co-op really is an opportunity to experience different companies, different jobs, different cultures. But if at the end of the day a student absolutely thought it was the best place and they feel the work is challenging and that's where they want to continue, nobody's going to stop them from doing that.
We talked a lot about the NUN students that have just come in January. I think a lot of parents are asking that they feel that their students behind and will not graduate in the 4 years. Can you talk a little bit about how the academic calendar works for those students?
Sure. So the NUN program, when the students arrive to campus, and this is not when they arrive back in January, this is when they are arriving on campus to do the pre-departure orientation. They work very closely with their advisors, and while they are over at the NUN location, our advisors are constantly looking at any kind of transfer credit they have, their academic background, their academic interest, and so the advisors are constantly working, even though the students are not here on campus during that fall. So when they arrive, they have taken much of the same courses that their peers who arrived in the fall semester are going to take in a future semester or have already taken. So what will happen is that the students are not at a disadvantage. The students come in and we make sure that they take courses that assist them to progress through their degree program. And they have the same opportunities as the summer to, if they wanted to catch up on a few courses, they could definitely take summer courses. But once again, they're not at a disadvantage. They're able to work with their academic advisors to move forward with their program. And the courses that they take at the NUN location are reviewed constantly to make sure that the students are making progression in their degree when they arrive here on campus.
So I don't know if you know the answer. The business course 1103, is that offered during the summertime?
That is the professional development for co-op course, and it is not offered during the summer. It's offered fall and spring only.
And we have a question about co-op again. We have the 2 cycles. Co-op is a very popular subject tonight. I know we have the 2 cycles, but is it possible for anyone to start a co-op like in June and they get instead of July? Are there any cycles that operate that way?
So those aren't the official co-op cycles. They are January or June, January, July. However, sometimes a student may be asked by an employer to start earlier, and if they're not in school and it meets all other requirements, they're able to do that. So we're able to extend up to 8 months. Sometimes students will, and they'll do the same thing on the other end. They'll work January through June, and then they'll want to stay working maybe through August. And if that works for their academic schedule, they're absolutely able to do that.
Okay. Is there any assistance for students who want to do internships? Who would they talk to? Where would they go?
Right now, for students who are interested in internships, through that NU career system where they find their co-op jobs, there is also a link to internship postings. It's a different tab, but it's pretty easy for students to find and navigate. So they're able to do that. If your son or daughter is a freshman and they're in the 1100 course, we do frequently hear from employers now who may be looking for folks to do an internship this summer, and we can also share that information with them.
We have time for like one more question, if anyone wants to type one in. If not, I do want to keep everybody reminded that we're going to put our contact information up now. And this is the Office of Parent and Family Programs, so if we did not get your question or you have a certain question about your student, please feel free to email us at parents@northeastern.edu. Also, visit our website. There's the address, northeastern.edu/parents, and you'll be able to see a full listing of all our Tuesday talks coming up. We hope you will be able to join us. We have quite a few scheduled in the next month. And as I said, we thank you so much, Christina and Mary, for joining us tonight. I appreciate all your assistance, and I think parents found this very helpful. Shortly, you'll be asked to complete a brief survey to provide feedback with tonight's evening session, as well as share any future topics. We really do value your input on any topics that you would like to be seeing. And also note that within the next week, you'll receive an email that will tell you about the recording and how you can get access to it. Thank you again for joining us, and have a lovely night.
Thank you very much. Thank you.